Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers at a drawing on April 13th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 12 was blue, the 21 was red, the 23 was blue, the 39 was orange, and the 67 was orange. Okay, so I'm going to color these up. So again, the 12 and 23 were blue, the 21 was red, and the 39 and 67 were orange. Okay, so now I count how many colors I have total. So I got 2 blue, 2 orange, and a red for 3 colors total. Okay, so now I'm going to make this 322. So I kept track of 322 color code drawings so far, and a 3 color combination has now come up 174 times. Okay, so if you do some quick math and divide 174 into 322, you can see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge, because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so what I do is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible. Okay, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the red numbers. All right, so my color code is right here. You can see the red, orange, green, blue, and purple. Okay, so the last 3 drawings, again, I color them in red because they're hot. They just barely came up, so they're hot. Okay, and I only did the last 3 drawings because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start with this 12, then the 21, 23, 39, 67, and then the 15, 33, 43, 59, and 60, and then the 16, 19, 25, 32, and 49. Okay, so that's it for the red. So I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2, and 2 is 4, 6, and 3 is 9, 10, and 5 is 15. So I'm going to leave that at 15. Okay, so this up here tells me how many colors, the number of colors that I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to do the orange numbers now. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 21, so you can see that's already taken. So I'll start with the 22, the 52, I mean. Sorry about that. 52, 54, 64, 68. The next row was 16, which is already taken. The 20, 37, 44, 62. And then the next line is 24, 25, which is taken, 52 is taken. 60 is taken. 66 is open. And then the next row is 10, 14, 50, 53, and 63. Okay, so I'll make those orange. Now I'm going to count how many I have. So I have 1 and 2 is 3, 4 is 7, 3 is 10, and 2 is 12, and 3 is 15. So I'm going to leave that alone at 15 as well. Okay. So you can see how I came up with the colors here. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do the green one. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the 30 here. Okay, so you can see that I have a lot more green area than the orange and red. Okay, and the reason why that is because when the numbers start filling up in the game card here, I need more selections of numbers in this green area to get me up to that 13, 14 mark. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with the 30, the 34, the 39 is taken, the 53 is taken, 67 is taken. Okay, you see how all these numbers have already come up. So again, I need a lot more numbers here in the green to get up to that 13, 14 mark. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 18, 36, 45, 47, 69. Then the next row is 5, 6, 45 taken, 55, 59 is taken. Then the 6, 10, 21, 35 is open, 46 is open. And then the 1, 19 is taken, 25 is taken, 27, 68 is taken. And then the last row is 21 taken, 31, 42 is open, 49 is taken, and the 59 is taken. So I count how many green I have here. So I got 3, and 4 is 7. Okay, and 5 is 12, and 4 is 16. So I have a little bit too many green spots. Okay, so I wanted around that 13, 14 mark. But the thing about my color code here is that this thing is set in stone. Okay, so just because I have a couple more green, I can't go to this last row and just take it off or make it blue or whatever. Okay, again, it's set in stone. And basically what will happen is this is works like a caterpillar, where this 12 will keep on working its way down. Okay, and eventually there'll be more purple than blue and so on. Okay, so but it always, this color code always gives me a good representation of each color. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on, and I'm going to scroll to the right here just to speed things up. Okay, so this is the game card for April 13th, 2019, and you can see that there was 15 red areas, 15 orange, 16 green, turned out to be 14 blue, and 9 purple. Okay, so the last drawing, all right, you can see that 3 colors came up, and I've been picking for the last couple of drawings that no green numbers will come up, and finally no green numbers came up. Okay, so again, the whole object of the game is for you to eliminate numbers. Okay, so last drawing, if you could have eliminated the green numbers, you would have been correct. Okay, so let me go over to over here. You can see that there's 2 game cards. You got on the left the last drawing for April 10th, 2019. Okay, and then over on the right it's this drawing for April 13th. All right, so last drawing, if you could have said no green numbers would come up, again, you could have gotten rid of them and gave yourself a better chance at getting some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery. Okay, so here's the winning numbers that came up to 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. And you can still see that they're on the board. The 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. Okay, so just by eliminating these numbers, you know, this is giving me a better chance. All right, lowering the odds, if you want to say. Okay, so going back to over here, the game card, again, what I want to do is I want to pick what color I don't think is going to come up. Okay, so if I go back a little bit further, you can see that all 5 colors do come up. Okay, and it's only come up 12 times in the last 322 drawings. Okay, so it comes up, but it's hardly ever comes up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a guess here. Okay, and I'm going to guess that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, and the reason why is because a green number has come up in the last 19 drawings here. Okay, and I just think that it's going to miss a couple of drawings. Okay, so it missed this past drawing, and now I think it's going to miss the next drawing as well. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the green numbers off of this drawing for the 13th. And hopefully these green numbers do not come up. Okay, so again, this is the Powerball guessing game, and it's all about making a good guess here. Okay, so I got rid of all the green, and basically what I want to do is I want to get you involved at home. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is draw out the game card for yourself. So pause the video, go grab some paper, just kind of scribble this out. Okay, you don't even need to put in the numbers right now. All right, just the squares. Okay, so if you decide to do that, and if you decide to go with me saying that no green numbers will come up, then this is how your game card should look. Okay, so I want you to X out the numbers that you don't think are going to come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so those of you who have been watching me for a little while, it was the 50-50 picks, but to me it kind of makes more sense to go to the individual numbers here. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so let me bring this down so you can see the whole card here. Okay, so again, you can see 7 different groups here. So group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers, and then the rest have 10. The teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Okay, so again, there's 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so basically what you're looking at here is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is because when I go down to the history, it's easier to count back on 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. Okay, but another theory of mine is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here, then maybe the next 5 won't have so many hits, or vice versa. Okay, so I'm just trying to break things down where I can see something to make me guess easier. Okay, so over here I want to point out the numbers of 1 through 9. You can see that I'm up to this 3rd spot right here. Okay, this is current up here, so you can see that no numbers of 1 through 9 have come in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drawings so far. Okay, so this next drawing coming up, I'm gonna guess that there's gonna be at least 1 or 2 numbers of this 1 through 9 that will come up. Okay, and if it doesn't come up this next drawing, then the next drawing after that. Okay, so again, if you could have guessed that no 50 numbers were going to come up. Okay, so this is the last drawing. Okay, and you can see that there's no 50 numbers in here. All right, so if you could have guessed that no 50 numbers were to come up, you could have eliminated that off of your game card. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do right now for the last drawing. I'm going to eliminate the 50 numbers. Okay, so 50, 51, 52, 53 is over here, 54, 55 is gone, 56, 57, 58, and 59. So I'll get rid of those 50 numbers, and again, you can still see that the winning numbers are still left here on the board. Okay, so the 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. Okay, so again, this is the object of the game here. You know, like Sherlock Holmes would say, it's a matter of deduction. If these numbers do not come up, then these numbers have to come up. Okay, so that's the name of the game here. Okay, so moving on back to the individual numbers, I want to show you how this works again. So again, the 12, I didn't put that in yet. So here's the 12, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this blue because the 12 is blue. Okay, the 12 is blue because the color code said it was blue. Okay, so I'm going to, over here where this 5, this tells me how many groups it hit. So 12 is in the teen group, even though it's, you know, not a teen. I just call it that way. Okay, so the 20 is in its separate group. The 23 is in its separate group. So you got the 12 in one group, the 21, 23 in the 20 group, the 39 in the 30 group, and the 67 in the 60 group for 4 groups total. Okay, so 4 comes up the most as I go back into the history of things, and then 3 is a close second. Now 5 comes up every now and again, and a 2 comes up every once in a blue moon, and I never seen a 1. Okay, so I never seen all 5 winning Powerball numbers here in this teen group. Okay, haven't seen that yet. I'm sure it will come up eventually. Okay, but again, how I use this is, again, a number from 1 through 9 hasn't come up in the last 9 drawings, so I'm expecting it to come up soon. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate the 60 numbers. Okay, so you can see that it's been really hot here in this last 5 drawings, and now I think it's going to cool off a little bit, and I'm hoping that no 60 numbers will come up here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the 60 numbers off of this game card here, okay, for the 13th. So I'm going to start with the 60, 61, 2, 3, 4, 65, 66, 67's already gone, 68, and the 69 is gone, so I'll get rid of those. Whoops. I'll get rid of those, okay? So hopefully the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on the game card for me, okay? So moving on, I'm going to go to the next strategy, but before I do that, I want to give you a chance to look at this a little bit better, okay? So again, this is good for 5 drawings, all right? So it's up to you to decide where you don't think a mark is going to be here, okay? So make your best guess. And if you need more time, then pause the video, okay? And again, I'm going to go with no 60 numbers. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so moving on, I'm going back to the strategies. So strategy number 3 is the 50-50 picks, okay? But before we go to that, I want to introduce strategy number 4, picking the numbers from group 1, and strategy number 5, picking the numbers from group 2, okay? So here, this is my group 1 numbers. You can see how I broke the numbers into 4 different groups and put colors to these groups, okay? So when the 5 correct Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So again, the numbers were 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67, okay? So you can see that there were no winning Powerball numbers here in this orange area, okay? And that's the strategy of this game here, is to correctly guess where a 0 is going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have made that correct guess and guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a better chance at winning some kind of prize. Okay, so basically that's how group 1 works, and I have 15 of these option cards here. Okay, and they all kind of look the same as far as the colors: red, blue, orange, green. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so going to group 2, you can see it's kind of like the same thing as group 1, except that I broke the numbers into 8 different color groups here. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these groups cannot have winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these color groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so here you can see that it's all the same. I'm sorry, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, and they're all the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so you can see option card number 2, red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, same here with 3, red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. And again, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other. Okay, so how this works and what you're looking at here, you can see that I like to break things down into 5, okay? And the reason why I do that is because it will show me a majority of things, all right? So you can see that there was 3 zeros here. So when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. And then the next one, you can see that there was 3 hits. So when that happens, I color the background red for hot, okay? So as I go down through, we know that the lottery is random, right? At least it's supposed to be anyways. So as I go down through, this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something that's been really hot, like right through here, okay, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? And you can see that it did turn blue a little bit here, okay? All right, so down here, this is where I keep the stats, okay? So as I go back up, again, it was the 12, which is green. The 21 is purple. The 23 is gray. The 39 is gray. And the 67 was orange. So I have an orange, green, purple, and 2 gray. So as I go down here, I had none in the red area, none in the blue. I had 1 in the orange, that 67 number, 1 in the green, that 12. 1 in the purple, that 21. I had no winning numbers in the brown area. And I had 2 in the gray. And I had no winning numbers in the yellow, okay? So over here, I count how many color groups I hit. So I had 1, 2, 3, and 4 total. Okay, so since the majority is over here to the right side, I color that for green. Okay, that just lets me know in the past where the majority has been, either to the left side or right side. Okay, so you can see there's a bunch of green here. Okay, so maybe there'll be more zeros here to the right side because the majority of the numbers coming up may be over here to the left side. Okay, so that's, you know, I just try to come up with anything to help me give me a good guess on what numbers are not going to come up. Okay, so I showed you that to show you the 50-50 numbers here, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that to help me guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay. So here I'm going to make this 367. And basically this goes back 367 drawings to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So with this last drawing, you can see that the numbers are 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. So that gives me 4 odd numbers and 1 even. So I'm going to keep track of that, 4 odds and 1 even, and now I'm going to make this 194. Okay, so out of 367 drawings, 194 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. Okay, so what I like to do here is I like to keep track of every 5, just so it shows me that majority. Okay, so you can see out of this 5 drawings, the majority has been even numbers, 4 to 1. Okay, 4 drawings to 1. And as I keep on going back through the history of things, you know, some people look at this and say, well, this means absolutely nothing, you know? And yeah, but I like looking at stats, okay? I played baseball, basketball, football my whole life, okay? And I like looking at the stats of things, players and things. So I like looking at the stats, and I know a lot of people do, but did I really mean all that much? Well, not really, you know. It's still always going to be a 50-50 guess, okay? But again, I like to look at the stats to give myself a better educated guess, I guess. All right, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a guess on what I think is going to come up here for the majority of numbers, okay? So evens just had a good run of 4, and now I think that this odds will probably stay the same. Okay, so I think that this next drawing will be the majority of odd numbers than even numbers. Okay, so I'm going to write that down right over here. And the reason why I'm writing it down is because this is going to give me kind of like a roadmap of what numbers to eliminate in the group 1 and group 2 areas here. Okay, so if I'm just looking at getting rid of even numbers, maybe within one of these cards there's going to be something where there's more evens than odds or whatnot. Okay, so going back to the 50-50 picks, the next one is high and low. So you can see all the red numbers are considered high, all the ones in blue are considered low, and that includes the 60, the 65, the 66, and the 67. So even though those are high numbers, they're in this blue area, so when they come up, I record them in the low area. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, you can see that low has been very sparse over here. Okay, so out of this 5, 10, 15, 16, 17 numbers, so far the majority has been high, 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 high. So I'm going to say that this repeats itself with the low. Okay, and I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to be to this blue area, the low area, than the high. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well, just to remind me. Okay, and then moving on, I have 2 more of these. This is left and right. Okay, so you can see as I go down through, the majority is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 30, the last 35 drawings have been to the majority of the right side here. Okay, so over here to the left has been very sparse, as you can see. So I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to be to the left side than the right side. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, and again, that's just to remind me of what numbers are, what part of the board I want to concentrate on. Okay, so the next one is this red and blue area here. Okay, you can see that the red has the majority, 204 to 163. Okay, so eventually I believe that the blue is going to catch up. Okay, probably go on a couple long runs. Do I think that's going to happen for this drawing? And that's the only thing that counts right now, is I'm not really sure. Okay, I look at this and I see everything pretty even, so I'm not sure what's I can't even come up with a good guess on it. Okay, so I'm not even gonna pick it, and you don't have to pick it. All right, I have 3 others that will give me a clue on what numbers I want to pick or eliminate. Okay, through these. So again, this red and blue, I'm not even going to make a pick. Okay. So over here, I do have something for the Powerball itself, okay? There's 26 red numbers in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So over here on this left side, the column, this left column, if you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so again, there's just 26 numbers, so I just divided them into, and basically why I do this is so I could just look at the colors, okay? So when I see a long run of red here, well, I know eventually it's going to be blue. And when that happens, then now I'm only going to pick from 13 numbers instead of 26. Okay. So over here to the right side, if you see a red number, then that means it's odds. If you see a blue number, then that means it's evens. Okay. So here you can see that odd numbers have come up in the last 5 drawings. So maybe it will be red on the next one. Okay. And for me, I've been picking 9 for the last, I don't know, 10 drawings in a row, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with picking with a 9 because it hasn't come up in such a long time. Here's the last time it came up. So, this is what the stats are good for, is to see what's really cold. And, again, we have a 1 in 36 chance of getting it right, or 26 chance. Actually, the odds say, the official odds are 1 in 36. Okay, 1 in 36 drawings, you'll get it right. All right, but for me, again, I think that this is going to be red, and I think that this is going to be blue again, and I'm going to be going with that 9. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right. So what this green means is that the Powerball repeated itself. Okay, so you see the 14 came up, and then the next drawing, the 14 repeated. Okay, so you can see that throughout the history of things here as well. Okay, so again, this is all geared up for you to make a good guess. All right, so moving on, the next strategy is strategy number 4. Picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so I gave you a little introduction of this group 1 already. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the last drawing, I want to pick that out first. Okay, so if you could have picked that no orange numbers were going to come up here in this option card number 1, you could have eliminated all these numbers and gave yourself a much better chance. Okay, at winning some kind of prize. So here's the last drawing. I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers. Okay, so you can see how what that does. Okay, it just eliminates a bunch of numbers, and now you have a much better chance at winning some kind of prize. Okay, so again, the 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67 are still in play here. Okay. So moving on to this game card for me, I am going to pick 13 and 14. Okay, so I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is help you choose some of these. So again, with the 50-50 picks, and again, this is where the 50-50 picks come in, is I want more odds and evens, more to the low side and more to the left side. Okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on, I think there's going to be more numbers to the low area and more to the left. Okay, so that means that only probably one number could be here in the green. All right, and certainly one in the blue. All right, so will that happen? Who knows? All right, so the one that I'm going to pick, so I'm here for you. Okay, I want you to make a decision on where you think the 0 is going to be. Okay, so if you need more time, then pause the video and then eliminate that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 2 here. You can see that a row, what that row means is that all 4 colors hit. Okay, so rows come up a lot, and when I don't see a row in a while, like over here, you can see that there was just a blank spot of row. Okay, you know, I know that it's going to come up eventually, so maybe this is due to have a row as well. Okay, who knows? All right, so this is why I gave myself so many option cards, okay? Because I want as many options as possible to look at this and say, I don't think this group of numbers is going to come up. All right, so moving on for here, again, I think the majority of the numbers are going to be to the low side and over here to the left side. Okay, so if this is going to be a row as well, and this is going to be a row over here for this group 1, okay, then we know that one number is going to be here in the blue and one number is going to be here in the orange, in the green, I mean. And if this is a row, then one number has to be in the orange and one in the green, or vice versa. Okay. So moving on to number 3, again, I think majority of the numbers down here, okay, into this left side. All right. So this green one may be a good chance, maybe a good one to take, okay, to eliminate, all right, because you can see a single 0, okay, and you can see that these zeros, they double up every now and again, or even triple up. And here you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 single zeros, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 single zeros before it tripled up here, okay. So maybe it's due to have another 0 right here, okay? Again, who knows? It's all just your best guess. So moving on to number 4. Again, I think the majority of the numbers will be down here and over here, okay? Haven't seen a row in a while, okay? So maybe this is due to have a row where all 4 of these colors will have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so moving on to number 5. Again, I think the majority of the numbers will be over here to this left side. So maybe this green or orange may not come up, okay? Certainly a 1 comes up a lot, okay? For some reason, you can see there's a bunch of 1s all over the place, okay? It's just one of those things that comes up a lot, and that's what I look for. Okay. So moving on, maybe this green will again miss. Who knows? Moving on to number 6. This is where these are broken down into odds and evens. You can see that all the red numbers are odd numbers and all the blue are even. Okay. So again, I think the majority of the numbers will be here to this low side, okay? And what did I say for odds and evens? I think more odd numbers are going to come up. Okay, so all these orange numbers are odd numbers, okay? And I think the majority of the numbers will be down low and over here to the left, so maybe no orange numbers are going to come up. So there may be a 0 right here, okay? So you may want to take that. Or this blue, you can see that this a 1 that follows a 1 comes up a lot for some reason, okay? Again, there's no rhyme or reason why it comes up like that. It just does, okay? And it comes up very, very often. So maybe this will be the time that it does and get rid of these blue numbers. Again, I think that the majority of the numbers will be odd numbers. So maybe it will be the 9, 67, and 13. Who knows, you know? Okay, so maybe those blues will be a good number to get rid of. Okay, moving on here to 7. Here's one, this green area. I had a long run of 22 drawings, then a short, then a medium, okay? So maybe it's due to hit right here and have the 0 be right here. So maybe none of these green numbers will come up. You may want to pick those, okay? Moving on to number 8. Here again, there's a well, here at 8, I have a run of 13 here in the red area. So maybe that's due to miss, okay? So maybe none of these red numbers will be coming up. So you may want to consider eliminating these red numbers, okay? Moving on to number 9. Here we are with 12 for the blue, the green, I mean. So maybe that's due to miss. Maybe these green numbers won't be coming up, so you may want to consider those. Here in 10, there's been a long time since a row has come up, so maybe a row is due where all these numbers will come up, okay? Where all 4 color numbers will come up, all right? But here, another thing, you can see no 3, and what that means is that this blue column has no 3 zeros in a row, okay? Where the rest of them do, okay? So here's one in the orange, a 3, okay? Another 3. Here's one in the green, a 3. There's another one in the green for 3, okay? One over here in the red. So plenty of other ones have come up, okay? But again, in this blue area here, there's never been 3 zeros in a row, okay? So maybe that's due to happen, okay? 3 drawings in a row where none of these blue numbers may come up, okay? But again, it's going against this row thing here. So make a decision, and that's what it's all about. Make your best guess. And I'm going to move on to 11. Okay, so here, you could have a 1 that follows a 1 right here in the red area. So maybe none of these red numbers will be coming up. Okay, something to consider. Okay, moving on to number 12. Again, a 1 that follows a 1 could be right here with this orange area. So maybe none of these orange numbers will be coming up. Okay, and I'm going to pick right here. I'm going to pick no green numbers here in this option card 13. Okay, and the reason why is because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 single zeros, okay? So maybe it's time to double up and have a 0 right here. That's what I'm hoping. So I'm going to get rid of these green numbers, the 6, 8, 13, 15, all the way down, okay? So over here in this drawing, again, I'm going to get rid of the 6 and the 8, 13, 15, 6, 8. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those numbers, and hopefully none of those come up, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on the game card. Okay, so moving on. Option card 14, I am going to go with no green numbers as well because it hit 24 drawings in a row here, okay? So I'm hoping that there's going to be a 0 right here, okay? So the pattern is 1, 12, 17, 28, all the way around here. So again, this is for this drawing. It's the 1, 12, 17, 28. So I'll get rid of those numbers, okay? So you saw I got rid of the 53 as well, okay? Because the 53 and the 69 share this square right here, okay? So let me go back to this. You can see that there's no numbers off here to the left side like there is on the game card. Got these numbers off here to the left side, okay? So basically what I did is I want this this what do you call it? This format right here, this grid, okay, where it's 8 squares down, 8 squares across. Everything's nice and even, okay? It's just that there's 69 numbers, all right? So 8 times 8 equals 64, so I need to put those 5 numbers in here somewhere, okay? So I decided to come up with something that's called sharing the square. So this 53 and 69 share the square right here, okay? And what that means, I'm just keeping track of a bulk of numbers that includes all these numbers, including the 53 and the 69, okay? So it's just another way of keeping track of groups of numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to get rid of all these greens. And it looks like I did that, okay? So moving on for the last drawing. Well, let me go through this 14 what you hear. For some reason, when a 3 comes up, usually there's another number that follows, okay? So I have a pretty good idea that one of these blue numbers is going to come up as well, okay? So who knows which one, all right? And this is the whole thing of, to eliminate numbers to find out which numbers are going to come up. So moving on to 15 for you. Here in this blue, you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros here as well, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 single zeros in a row, so maybe there'll be a 0 right here, okay? So that's something for you to think about. If you're going to go that route, then eliminate all these blue numbers off your game card. Okay, so I have one more to do here. I'm just going to hit the home button, go back to number 1. And number 3, you can see that no green numbers came up as well. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off the last game card here. Okay, so this is the last drawing. So I'm going to get rid of the 61, 62, 63, 64. Okay, so I'm going to move on from the group 1 to group 2 here. So again, here in group 2, kind of the same as group 1, where I broke things into 8 different color groups here. Okay, so I'm going to update one more, and this is option card number 2. So again, the winning numbers were 12, which was in the blue, 21 orange, 23 orange, 67 orange, and 39 purple. So I got 1 blue, 3 orange, and 1 purple. There's no winning numbers in the red area, 1 in the blue, 3 numbers in the orange, no numbers in the green, 1 in the purple, 0 in the brown, 0 in the gray, 0 in the yellow. Only 3 colored groups came up, and the majority is to the left side, so I'm going to make this 3 red. Okay, so again, you know, when it has something like this where it only hit 3 colored groups, it's like, well, 5 zeros came up in this last drawing. You know, you would think that it would be easy to pick this 1 0, okay? And that's what I recommend, that you just pick 1 and move on to the next option card. Okay, so if I said, oh, I don't think any green numbers are going to come up in this last drawing, and I also said, oh, I don't think any orange either, you know, all of a sudden I had it correct at green, but I picked another one and now I'm wrong, okay? So again, I just recommend that you pick 1 color group, even though I know that there's going to be 3 zeros, 3 of these colored groups with no winning Powerball numbers to it. I still recommend that you just pick 1 and move on to the next one. Okay, so what I want to do is show you now is the group 2 overview, okay? So I'm going to go to option card number 1 and number 2 for this, okay? And I'm just going to concentrate on the red and blue areas. So here in option card number 1, there was a 0 here, okay, that came up. So I'm going to put a 0 right here. That's option card number 1, red area. And in the blue area, there was a 0 as well. And you can see that I already have that in there. Okay, so here with number 2, option card number 2, what happened in the red area, there was another 0. So I'm going to make a 0 right here as well. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to show you here is that I like to keep track of all 15 option cards as a group. Okay, and that's why I gave them all the same colors: red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so with this red area for all 15 option cards, it turned out there was 8 hits, 7 misses. Okay, so there's 7 option cards with a 0 to it in the red area. Okay, so when that happens, all right, and this is why I made it 15 option cards, because I could have a majority. Okay, so the majority was 8 hits, 7 misses. So when that happens, I color the background red for hot. Okay, red for hot. And here in the blue area, you can see that there was 7 hits, 8 misses. So the majority was misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. Okay, so I keep the group 2 overview here in the blue in the group 1 section. Okay, so here's the overview for group 1. And I didn't really explain that all that well, but I'm going to keep with group 2 here. Okay, so again, with this group 2, you can see that with the red area, there was 8 hits, 7 misses. Okay, blue, 7 hits, 8 misses. Okay, so why do I keep track of this? Okay, because if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to be, okay, and I think it's going to be here with this brown, that means I think at least 8 of the option cards will have a 0 or a miss in the brown area. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I want to keep that in mind when I'm going through these picks. Okay, so let me go back here to option card number 1. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pick, and actually I'm going to start with last drawing. Okay, the last drawing, if you could have picked that, no brown numbers were going to come up. You can see this 0 here, so no brown numbers came up. So I'm going to eliminate these brown numbers off of the last drawing game card. So here's the last drawing, okay, and no brown. That includes the 14, 22, 30, and 38. Okay, and you can still see that those winning numbers are still here, okay? The 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67, okay? So for me, I'm going to make a guess here, and I'm going to guess that no yellow numbers are going to come up, okay? So again, you can see how hot this yellow was. And now I think there's going to be another 0 right here, okay? So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to eliminate all these yellow numbers off the game card. Okay, so for this drawing, here's the yellow, and you can see that there's no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so I'm going to head back here. All right, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you, okay? And I want you to choose where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, so I chose yellow, but purple looks pretty good here. Okay, there might be a 0 here, all right? Over here, you can see a bunch of green, so that means most of the majority of the numbers have been coming up over here to the right side. So maybe the majority of the numbers will start coming up over here to the left side now, okay? So make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be, and then X out those numbers off your game card, okay? So if you decide to go with no gray, then X out these numbers off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 2. Last drawing. If you could have said no brown numbers, you would have been correct. Okay. Could have gotten rid of those brown numbers, the 41 to the 48. And this is the last drawing, and got rid of that 48. Okay, and for this drawing, I'm going to choose that no orange numbers are going to come up. Okay, so as I scroll down here, see that it's been like 50-50 back and forth of hot and cold. Okay, but this 3 just barely came up, so I'm thinking that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens, and I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers, the 17 to the 24. For this drawing here, okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 19, 20, 23, because the 19 shares the square with that 67. Okay, and now for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Again, over here, you can see that there's a bunch of green. So maybe the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side, where the majority of the zeros will be over here to the right side. Okay? But who knows? All right, so make your best guess. If you need more time, then pause the video and then eliminate that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 3. Last drawing. If you could have said no purple numbers were going to come up, you would have been correct. Okay, could have gotten rid of those purple numbers, and that's the 66 and the 33. Again, this is the last drawing, and we'll get rid of the 8 as well. Okay, so for me, this drawing, I'm going to say no brown numbers. Okay, remember I thought there was going to be a lot of misses, at least 8 option cards with a 0 to the brown area, and I think it's going to be one right here. Okay, mainly because of all this red right here. All right, so we'll see what happens, and I'm going to eliminate the brown numbers, which is the 5 and the 34. For this drawing, there's no 5, but there's the 50 and the 58. Okay, so I'll get rid of that 50 and 58. Okay, and for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here. Again, you can see a bunch of red over here. So because there's so much red, maybe the numbers that will be coming up will be over here to the right side and more zeros over here to the left side. Okay, so it's up to you. Make a decision. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 4. Okay, last drawing. If you could have said no yellow numbers, you would have been correct. Okay. And we could have got rid of the 65 and 61 again for the last drawing. So the 25 and 65 share that square. I'll get rid of those. Okay, so you can still see that the winning numbers are still here in play. The 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. Okay, so over here for me, I am going to go with yellow as well. Okay, because as I scroll down through, you can just see how hot this has been. Okay, so eventually it's going to turn blue. Okay, and I'm going to say that none of these yellow numbers will be coming up. I hope. Okay. So this for this drawing, so it's a 25 and 26. It's 2 more numbers gone, you know. Okay, so moving on. For you at home, Gonna scroll down slowly. Okay, and you decide where you think one of those 3 zeros are going to pop up. Okay. Now, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so number 5, the last drawing, if you could have picked no yellow numbers, you would have been correct. Okay. Could have gotten rid of these yellow numbers. And that's the 37 and the 40. Okay, so for this drawing, I'm going to say no brown is going to come up. Okay, so again, remember, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that at least 8 of these option cards will have a 0 in the brown area. Okay, so I'm hoping this will be one of them. So I'm going to get rid of those brown numbers. For this drawing, okay? And the only one left is the 14. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here. Okay, and you decide where you think one of those zeros is going to be. Okay, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 6. Last drawing, if you could have said no yellow numbers were to come up, you would have been correct. Okay, we could have gotten rid of those yellows, and that's the 2, 9, 18, 65 all the way down. Again, that's the last drawing, the 2, 9. Got rid of those anyways, right? So moving on for me, option card number 6, I'm going to say no yellow numbers as well. So again, it's the 2, 9, 18, 65. So that gets rid of a bunch of numbers for me, 4 numbers, okay? So for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here. Okay, you tell me where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 7. Last drawing, if you could have said no red numbers were going to come up, you would have been correct. Okay, and that's the 65, 18, 20, 27, 20 all the way across. Get rid of that 20 and the 29. Okay, and you can still see the winning numbers are still left here on the board, right? The 12, 21, 23, 39, 67. Okay, so hopefully I'm doing that with this drawing here, okay? So what I'm going to pick is I'm going to pick no red numbers as well. You can see that all those numbers are gone, okay? So for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. And again, you tell me what color you don't think is gonna have the 0 to it. Okay. Again, there's going to be at least 3 zeros. Okay. So if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay. So moving on to number 8. Okay, folks, we're almost done. Okay. Last drawing. If you could have said no blue numbers are going to come up, you would have been correct, okay? You could have got rid of the 6, 15, 22, 32. So you could have got rid of that 15 anyways. Okay, and for this drawing, I'm going to say no red numbers are going to come up. Okay, so as I go down through, see, it got pretty hot here, and I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And I'm going to get rid of those red numbers, and that's the 5, 16, 21, 31 for this drawing. And you can see that there's nothing here, okay? And that happens. All right, so moving on. For you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here. Okay, so you can see a bunch of red over here, so maybe the zeros will be over here, all right? Again, if you need more time, then pause the video and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 9. Last drawing. If you could have said no purple numbers were going to come up, you would have been correct, okay? And you could have got rid of the 10, 18 on the left side and 5, 32 on the right side. I could have got rid of that 11. Okay, so on this one, for me, I'm going to say no brown numbers again, okay? And that's the, well, let's take a look at the stats here. So you got pretty hot through here, okay? So I think there's going to be another 0. So we'll see what happens, okay? And that's the 920 on the left side and 631 on the right side. And there's nothing to get rid of. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm looking over at the one to get rid of is the 52. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. Okay, so I saw a lot of green over here. So maybe the zeros will be on this side. And the hits will be over here, okay? Make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 10. Last drawing, if you could have picked no purple numbers, you see you would have been correct, okay? And that's the 10, 27 all the way around. And it's just that 10. Okay, so over here for me, I'm going to pick no gray numbers. You can see how hot this gray has been, okay? So I think the 0 is going to be right here. We'll see what happens. And that's the 17, 28 all the way around. That same pattern for this drawing. And you can see that there's nothing to eliminate, okay? So again, even though there was nothing to eliminate here, I already made my pick of gray, and I'm just going to leave it at that one pick, okay? Because again, if I go back and I pick something else, I have a greater chance of getting it wrong. All right, so moving it on to 11. I'm sorry, I don't think I did 10 for you. Okay, so this is for you at home. I'm going to scroll down slowly. Okay, so again, make your decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 11. Last drawing, if you could have said no gray numbers were going to come up, you would have been correct. Okay, could have gotten rid of those gray numbers, which is the 3, 24, 38, 49. And it's only the 3 that I could get rid of, so I'll get rid of the 3. Okay, and you can still see that the winning numbers are still left on the board, the 12, 21, 23, 39, and 67. Okay, so hopefully I'm doing that as well over here, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on the board. Okay, so you can see that there's 4 and 3 is 7, 8, 9 numbers that I have left over. Okay, so this is the reason why I believe in this so much, is because one time out of a couple years that I've been doing this, again, just one time, I reduced the numbers down to 10 numbers, and the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10. Okay, so I only got 2 numbers correct that day. All right, but the game gave me what I wanted to do. It did what I wanted to do, and that was give me a much better chance at winning some kind of big prize. Okay, so again, this is why I believe in this so much, is because I've seen it happen once before. Okay, so moving on to number 11 for me, I'm going to say no red numbers are going to come up. Okay, so as I head down through, see, it got pretty hot in here, so I think a 0 is going to be right here. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, and that's the 6, 17, 35, 56. So I'll get rid of the 43, and that's it. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Again, there's going to be at least 3 zeros. We know that. Okay, but on average, there's actually 4. Okay, so it's almost like a 50-50 pick that, you know, you might get it right. Okay, and that's the thing about this game. Who knows? You might get it right. You might pick correctly. Okay, so if you need more time to pick that 0, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so I only have 15 of these option cards, so we're almost done here. Okay, so moving on to number 12. Okay, last drawing. If you could have said no brown numbers were going to come up, you would have been correct. Okay, you could have got rid of these brown, and that's the 7 and the 35. Again, for the last drawing. Get rid of that 7. Okay, and for me, for this drawing, I'm going to say no brown as well, because remember, I thought there was going to be a lot of brown misses, all right, out of these 15 option cards. So that's the 7 and the 35 as well, so that's the 59 that will come off. Okay, so I'm getting down there. I got 4, 5, 6 numbers over here, and over here I got 4, 8 numbers. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. See a bunch of red over here. Okay, so maybe this will be green and the zeros will be over here to the left side. Okay, who knows? All right, so make a decision. Tell me where that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to option card 13. Last drawing. If you could have said no orange numbers were going to come up, You would have been correct, okay? And that is the 13 and the 41. I'll get rid of that 13, okay? And for me, I'm going to go with brown again. So we'll take a look at that. You see it got really hot here in the beginning. And now I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens, and I'm going to get rid of those brown numbers. That's the 29 and 57. I'm going to get rid of that 51. And that brings me down to the 5 numbers. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go for the 3, 4, 10, 11, 39. So I'm going to write those down. Okay, so again, I thought more numbers will be to the odds, okay? More odd numbers would pop up. So I got the 3, 11, 39, okay? More to the low, so you can see all 4 of these numbers are to the low area here. And more to the left, you can see all these numbers are to the left area, okay? So we'll see what happens, okay? And for you at home, okay, you may not be done, so I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. You see how hot this red has been over here, okay? So, could be this red, all right? That will have the 0 to it, all right? So, make a decision, and then X out that color group, okay? So, moving on to number 14. Last drawing, if you could have said no blue numbers were to come up, okay, you would have been correct. Could have got rid of the 17 to the 27 and the 56 to the 62. And there it is, because the 19 shares the square with the 67, I can't eliminate that, okay? So I could have got it down to 6 numbers and made a guess, okay, that these 5 were to come up. Okay, so basically that's how it works. So I'm going to go back to number 14 for you at home. I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. Okay, so make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 15. And this is just for you at home. Okay. I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. See lots of red over here. So maybe the 0s will be over here and the hits will be over here. Okay, so make a decision on where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so going back to the game card again. Again, like Sherlock Holmes would say, it's a matter of deduction. All right, so out of the 69 numbers, if these 64 numbers that are blocked out don't come up, then these 5 colored numbers have to come up. Okay, so what are the odds that I picked correctly? All right, well, the odds are pretty astronomical. Okay, so just to get the grand prize, all 5 white ball numbers in the red ball, you'll win the grand prize, and that's up to 101 million right now. Okay, so the odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it right. Okay, so this is my goal, to get all 5 white balls correct. Okay, again, I play it with the power play, so that will pay me $2 million if I ever happen to hit it. And the odds of doing that are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay? So, in other words, how many 5-number combinations can you make out of 69 numbers? And the answer is 11,688,0553. Okay? So this is how many combinations you can make out of those 5-number okay? Out of 5 numbers divided into 69 numbers. Okay? So moving on, this is a good prize right here. 4 white ball numbers and a red ball. That will pay you $50,000 plus if you did the power play. So that's a really nice prize. That's about 1 in a million. All right, 1 in 900,000. All right. So moving on to the smaller prizes, which is more of a realistic prize. So if you get 4 white balls correct, you win $100 plus the power play. Okay. And if you get 3 white balls correct, it's a $7 prize, and that's 1 in 700 drawings. Okay, so I hope that helps. All right, so you always hear on the commercials to play responsibly. Okay, and I just want you to know that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year. Okay, but hey, it's your money, right? So moving on. In closing, I just want to thank you for watching. Okay. If you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.